Hey everyone, this is Pat Mercedes, and I just wanted to come to you today. I want to raise a couple of questions. Firstly, I want to ask this question, and we're waiting for people to come in. I know people watch afterwards, but I want to propose this scenario to you. Are banks corrupt? A friend of mine and world-renowned commentator Peter Schiff said, if you look at all the portfolios, all banks are corrupt. Look at their portfolios. So if you've got money in the bank right now, the money in the bank is in the hands of financial institutions that I believe are committed to your destruction. Just recently at a local bank here in Helensvale, a lady tried to get cash out of a particular bank, and they basically told her she couldn't. This is her money. Remember, the only money that a bank has is the money you put in. Just the other day, I went to another bank that I bank with, only to be told that they don't hold cash in the bank. I said, so what is the point of the bank? What is the point of a bank without cash? You see, the banking system as we know it is fundamentally flawed. Now, let me say this. The RBA, as much as they want to say they are not in bed with the government, believe you me, they seriously are. And the governor of the Reserve Bank needs to be held accountable for what he did to the Australian people. Did they put a gun to our heads when it came to loans and housing loans and getting money easily? No, they didn't. But they certainly dangled a carrot. And these same pharisaical, despotic, corrupted individuals that lord over us are now belting the Australian people with interest rate hikes. I predict come June 6th, you watch, there will be another interest rate hike. I believe that with all my heart. And they are merciless. You see, what they are trying to do is exactly what they did during the pandemic. They are breaking the spirit of Australia. That is what they are doing. And the government in Albanese and Jim Chalmers ought to be held account to it. You remember, lest we forget, Albanese promised us $275 cut in our power bills. We're still waiting 12 months later. In actuality, we've seen prices rise. But what they're saying is, well, it should have been 50%, but aren't you lucky it's only 20? Well, we can all live in shoulda, woulda, coulda world, but we don't. We live in reality. Let me tell you, I believe that our financial institutions are not strong. If you remember, the Treasury Secretary at the time of 2008 in the US, Hank Paulson, said, our financial institutions, our banks are very strong. That's what they keep telling us. But it is not true. They are not strong. They are not strong. You see, I believe we are headed for a major catastrophe. Now, according to Prime Minister Albanese, people like me and people like you, what do you call us, chicken litters or something? I can't remember the name, but called us names. Because if you don't agree with him, he's going to name call you. He's going to blackball you. He's going to make you feel like you are not part of the answer. You are part of the problem. The problem with politicians in this country is that they have no idea what an electricity bill is. They probably have no idea what a house mortgage is. Why? Well, basically, these guys are living off the fat of the land. They certainly had no idea what the cash rate was. Remember, Mr. Albanese? You had no clue. What makes the people of Australia think that you have any idea now? We are living in a world of complete cover-ups, complete snow jobs, complete lies and deception. You see, I believe that history is about to repeat itself. Make no mistake about it. And I believe that what we are doing next Wednesday, I'm going to be exposing with a very special VIP guest, a man that was an economic advisor to former presidential candidate Ron Paul. And believe you me, what happens in America soon happens here. We are tinkering on an economic devastation. 4 or 5 banks in the USA have gone broke, absolutely broke. And remember, when America sneezes, we catch pneumonia. We catch pneumonia. And with that in mind, Mark McGowan has resigned. You know, we used to sing a song called Ding Dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch is dead. Well, Ding Dong has taken off. Mind you, Only about a month or 6 weeks after, he went and visited China, where he said he wanted to take the whole national cabinet to China. Of course he would. Of course he would. Line up jobs for the boys and the recalcitrant dictators that are aligned with China. Remember, Dan Andrews went before him. If you think these guys aren't lining themselves up for cushy jobs with the Chinese government and using their positions right now that they have to secure themselves a financial future at your peril, at your expense, mind you, your taxpayers' expense, then you are kidding and you are living under some kind of rock. We need to wake up and smell, not the roses, the rotting garbage. McGowan's gone. Do us a favour, Palaszczuk. How about you go? What about Dan? I wish they'd all go. The only problem is that the alternative is not much better. Certainly not in liberal Victoria with that lefty, woke, socialist leader down there. I don't even want to mention his name because he's so annoying. That goes out and purposely vilifies people of conservative values. Australia, I'm telling you, you better get awake real soon. You better get educated real soon. And it's not about throwing our arms up in the air saying, what can we do? What can we do? We need to be on the front foot. We need to be on the front foot. Interestingly enough, over the next few months, I'm going to be interviewing some pretty amazing people in this country. Some of them are leading financial advisors from Australia and overseas who are absolutely livid at what the RBA is doing in this country. The governor of the Reserve Bank should resign. He looks like he's half here anyway. They have no idea the suffering of Australians right now. They have no idea. And here's why. They're living on fat cat salaries, lining their pockets while they are emptying yours. And by the way, one of the things that irked me last night, I want to thank Paul Murray for bringing it up, is that McGowan said he had no regrets. No regrets. Well, maybe you should talk to the parents and the children who lost their parents, lost their children, and couldn't visit them under your strict authoritarian, communist, socialist, evil dictates that you held this country ransom to. What happened through the Labor government in the States, they ought to be held for treason what they did in this country. And I don't say that lightly. They incarcerated people. And by the way, Mr. Albanese, where is that royal commission you said you were going to give us into the pandemic? We're still waiting. You're too busy pushing your voice. We have no date. And here's what they want to do. You vote, give us a yes, and then we'll give you the details. If Australia is stupid enough to do that, then we deserve the pain and all the suffering we're going to get. We deserve it. Because remember, nations don't get the governments they need, they get the ones they deserve. And our weak, woke, leftist ideology, addiction to government and handouts, she'll be right mentality is destroying this country. We're not reminding these politicians of the promises they have broken, nor the lies they have espoused through their mouths. But on this program, we're going to be reminding them constantly. Now today is short, sharp, and to the point. McGowan's on the run. Straight after his visit to China. Dan went over there to China, but no. We couldn't have any news people following him. Oh no, it wasn't newsworthy enough. That's called cover-up, sunshine. That's called cover-up. And the corruption has to stop. The corruption of the banking system has to stop. The hiking of interest rates has to stop. We're not even looking at GST, which is basically 100% of the people are involved in that. But you want to build 35% of the population that has housing loans. You know why? Because you're on an agenda that basically says you want us to own nothing and be happy. Well, we are going to own and we will be happy with what we own. We will not allow this. And don't fall for the lie that you can remortgage your finances and remortgage your loan only to be set back another 30 years. Believe me, the banks are not your friends. They are not your friends. Anyway, next Wednesday, I'm hosting an event online with Peter Schiff. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Look him up. This guy is about to blow the lid off this nonsense. Trust me, this is going to be one amazing interview and you need to register for it. I will put a link in the chat. This is Pat Mesiti. Just remember, some of these banks are too big